I had no intention of filming this, but something sort of came up in my day today and I just thought that it was about time. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm kind of creating this video for my friends, my family, who really just don't understand the way that I work or like what's going on with me, and sometimes my actions can be perceived as rude or selfish, and I feel like I need to explain sort of how my brain works. But I just also think this is for anyone going through similar things, or for people like my family who have someone that they're close to who is dealing with depression, anxiety, a whole heap of different mental health issues, and they just don't know how to be there for that person. I guess this video is for you guys. So let's just take it back to the start. And I want to be really intentional with my language here, because I know how powerful words are, and that's something that I've had to learn over the last 15 years, to really watch my words. So I'm not going to say things like I have depression, because that's like casting it over me, or I suffer from anxiety. That like word suffer, think about the connotations of that. I don't want to be using that kind of language. Instead, I will say that I have dealt with depression in my life and anxiety as well, and I frequently deal with anxiety on a daily basis in the present, and I've incorporated a lot of strategies in my life to minimize these things, to like avoid the triggers wherever possible, to really just be proactive. Yeah, so I guess I started feeling feelings of depression when I was about 16, and probably from 16 to 25 was really hard for me in terms of depression. It's not like I was depressed that entire time, but certainly it would come over me in waves. And like the thing with depression, and people just who have never dealt with it just don't understand, but when I say waves, I literally mean, like, think about your life as the ocean. Like, we're going with that metaphor. You're just there, you're enjoying the float overs, there's ups and downs, but depression literally is, or feels like, a force that just comes and crashes over the top of you and tumbles you around and pushes you down. That's how I felt. And sometimes it was moments of depression, sometimes it was days, sometimes it was weeks, sometimes it extended on for longer periods of time, and often there were like negative thoughts that arose during that time that would just continue the cycle of feeling depressed. When I think back on it now, I don't feel like, I'm not going to say like I've overcome depression. I feel like certainly there are moments where it does creep back in my life, but I am well and truly on top of it these days compared to when I was back then. But also I feel like back then, particularly, I was going to say particularly during my teens, but really even in my early 20s as well, I didn't want to overcome it, I don't think. I didn't want to be free from depression because that's what I'd known for such a long period of time. That's the mental state that I'd been in. And it's not like that I liked feeling depressed, but by no means did I like that feeling. But there was a sense of comfort in that, because I'm just like a very routine type person. I like predictable, I don't like change. And if I'm analyzing myself now, I feel like there probably was a sense of comfort in being stuck in depression, because I knew that then my life wasn't going to change and I didn't have to change. And change is scary. So I just liked dwelling in it, to be honest. And for those people that were around me at the time, I can understand that it was a really tough time for them. And me being in a state where I didn't want to help myself and I didn't want anyone else to help me definitely pushed people away. And I guess that's one of the lessons that I've learned. I've come a long way since then, in the sense that I am really proactive now, and I feel like people around me and people around, if you're around people that are going through these mental health issues, you can feel really helpless because you don't know how to help them. You don't know what they want. And when I look back on it, I didn't know what I wanted. So how on earth was I going to get someone else to help me or to be able to give me something that I needed when I didn't know it myself? So I feel like the biggest strategy that I incorporated that has such a tremendous impact on, what's a word? It's not overcoming, but minimizing my depression, keeping it at bay. I'll think of a better word at some point. But the biggest thing has been for me definitely exercise. I mean, I used to go for walks and whatnot by myself, and I'd listen to music, but really going into a gym, lifting weights, sweating, listening to upbeat music, listening to inspirational podcasts, there has never been a day that I have gone to the gym, even if I've just done like something on the treadmill, but there's never been a day where I've regretted it or I have not left there feeling significantly better, both physically and mentally and emotionally, than what I did when I arrived. I mean, it's proven that exercise gives you endorphins. When you are going through, you know, a depressive episode, you know, all the chemicals within your brain are messed up and you're lacking those endorphins, the serotonin, all those feel-good hormones. So any activity that you can do that's going to increase those is going to be really helpful. And I remember the first time that I saw a doctor about what I was going through, and granted, he put me on antidepressants and that wasn't a thing for me, but he also just, he didn't offer me anything really helpful. However, the one helpful thing that he told me was the benefits of exercise. And at that point in time, I didn't really listen to him. I mean, I was doing my walks, maybe I was doing exercise videos at home or something like that. But had I have actually got out and started finding different, you know, sports and exercises and ways of movement that I enjoyed from that point in time, I just wonder how much that would have impacted my life back then and how different things could have been if I had have been more proactive about it in the beginning. But honestly, yes, exercise has been the biggest thing for me, and I try and get to the gym about 4 times a week. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 3. During the school holidays, it's like 6 or 7. And I don't go because I'm trying to fulfill like some sort of physical idea. I'm not obsessed with looks, I'm not obsessed with weight or anything like that. I go purely for my mental health and because I know the consequences of me not going. I've been there, I've seen it, and I never ever want to go back to that point or that place in time again. Another thing that's been like super pivotal for me has been indulging in slow and intentional activities. Things like reading, writing, filming, cleaning, creating beautiful spaces, doing yoga, going for walks with a dog, swimming down at the inlet. All of these things, they're just slow. I'm disconnecting from technology, I'm disconnecting from the chatter, I'm getting back to quiet, peaceful moments where my brain and all the noise that goes on up here sometimes can just be silent and can just relax. And incorporating like at least 2 or 3 of those things into my daily routine is absolutely essential. I feel like in 2019, I was exposed to a lot of depressing states and thoughts and unhelpful thoughts during that time. Last year was a really hard year for me emotionally. There was a lot going on in my life, personally, professionally, in every realm. And I did feel, you know, the feelings and moments that I'd had, you know, for those 10 years prior cropping back up again. But because I'd done the hard work, the groundwork of laying those habits and routines, I was really able to pull myself out of those moments and that ways of thinking a lot quicker than I would have. And previously, you know, like I said, I was happy to just dwell in that place. Now I've seen the opposite side. I've seen what it's like to be free of these thoughts and to have a clear mindset and to be energized and joyful and peaceful. Now I know that I don't want to go back to that way of thinking, and I'm able to really just come out of it a lot quicker. So while I guess that struggle with the, you know, depression and the darker, more negative states of my mind has been positive, I've been making really good progress in that realm. Something that's come upon me in the last, really the last 6 years, but in particular the last 2 or 3 has been anxiety. I have always been a perfectionist, and I probably always had some level of anxiety in my life because my perfectionism drives me so hard. I want everything to be perfect in my life, and then anxiety is created around that. But honestly, when I started teaching, that anxiety just shot through the roof. It is in itself a very stressful job. There is a lot of letting go of control that needs to happen, because if you're just working in an office job, you can do a pretty good job of controlling how your day goes, unless you've got like just a random client that just is unexpected. But when you're teaching, you're dealing with 30 unpredictable clients in every single lesson. So being able to control that many humans at one point in time, and people who are going through their own inner battles and hormonal changes and unpredictability and like lots of life struggles, that was such a challenge to me, because for me, having control of the things in my life was the only thing that kept me feeling safe for a long period of time. So once I got put in a position where it was really hard to have control of things at all points in time, I needed to start learning to be okay with that. And still to this day, that's a struggle for me. But I guess one of the biggest things, and I didn't realize it at the time when I became a teacher, but one of the biggest things that I've struggled with is I'm a real introvert. I'm not antisocial. I have friends. I love hanging out with my friends, my family. I value relationships and good times with people, but 100%, I get all my energy and recharging done when I'm alone. I don't get energized off being with people. In fact, being around people really sucks me of energy, and it oftentimes makes me really anxious. So when I'm working 8 till 3 or sometimes 8 till 4, and I'm constantly surrounded by so many people, engaging in so many conversations, having so many relationships, and trying to meet the needs of so many people for that length of time every single day, it really drains me. It drains me physically, but it also drains me mentally and emotionally. And I think that this is the thing that people in my life don't understand. And if you are in some sort of relationship, friendship, or whatever with someone else who's an introvert, this is the real thing that you need to understand about them, is that if we're not making plans with you, if we're not available or we're saying no to things, chances are it's not because we're selfish. It's not because we don't want to pursue a relationship with you, or we don't value you or value your time and your connection. It's probably because other areas of our life, whether it's our job or at home or like whatever, other areas of our life are absolutely zapping us of all our energy, and the thought of being around other people is just too much. I know I've been struggling with the fact that, you know, certain people in my life want to catch up, and I am feeling guilty for not putting in time with them, but also I can't. I physically and emotionally can't. When I'm done for the day and I'm home, I don't want to go out and socialize with anyone. I don't want to spend my weekends like filling it with plans and hanging out with people, and it's not got anything to do with the people in my life, because they are fantastic people. It's 100% got to do with me, and it's all about me looking after myself. And I know, like, I can take the time, I can make plans, I can meet you at your place, I can do the thing that you want me to do, I can get outside my comfort zone, I can do those things for you, but you just need to know that there will be a consequence of that. And I just need to know that too, and it took me a long while, like, to know that there is a consequence for me of doing all these things and being constantly surrounded by people. I'm zapped, I'm done. And this is one of the biggest life lessons that I've learned from the last 15 years, is that if I know the triggers, if I see the signs, if I start to see a negative pattern forming, I have to step in, I have to take action. I have to avoid those triggers. I have to make positive habits and routines and things that are going to protect me as much as possible, and look after myself as much as possible, because I spend too long being a perfectionist, trying to meet the needs of everyone else, trying to be a good daughter, a good friend, a good sister, a good employee, all these good things, and saying yes to things, and just doing things when I am just not in an emotional state, like I just don't have the capacity to do it. And I've learned the very, very valuable lesson of saying no and being honest. And there was so much shame in me for so many years about my mental health, and I thought for so many years that it was a weakness. I thought that I couldn't talk to people about it, and I've been proven right in that instance, in the sense that some of the people closest to me have said things that have confirmed to me that I can't talk to them, that it has confirmed to me that they don't understand, that they don't know how to offer me any support. They can only offer judgment, and that's harsh, but I can't take that on. I just need to be honest with these people in these times, and sometimes that means saying, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, that's too much for me right now. I don't have the mental capacity to do that thing. I'm in a negative space at the moment. It's not anything on you. I just need to take a little bit of time to myself and to take control of my thoughts again. Give me a minute, give me some time, give me some space. I've learned the value of honesty. I've learned the value of time to myself. I've learned the value of recognizing my triggers and stopping in my tracks before things just carry into a place that I'm not willing to go to. And if you're watching this today and you know me, I hope that this has given you a little bit more of a broader perspective of who I am, how I think, and like what goes on in my mind on a daily basis. If you're watching this and you're dealing with the same things, I understand. I know that not everyone in your life is going to understand, but I fully understand. And if you ever want to reach out to me and chat, please feel free to do so, because I know it's so hard to find people to talk to in these times. I'd love to create a community of just strength and understanding that we can all be a part of. And if you're watching this today and you recognize someone in your life who's exhibiting the same sort of things that I mentioned previously, don't try and change them. Don't try and fix them. You can't fix them. It's up to us to work through our own mind and find strategies that are going to work for ourselves. You can be there for them. You can be a support for them. You can provide them with words of encouragement. Yeah, but just don't judge them or don't try and change them, because that then just makes us feel guilty for who we are, and we then like start another negative pattern that's unhelpful of thinking that we're not enough, we need to change, blah, 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 blah. And we just continue to go into this cycle that's really unhelpful. I hope this video was helpful to you. Please, if something in here has hit a nerve and you disagree with, don't write in the comments down below. Clearly the things that I have mentioned just then give you quite significant indication that I am dealing with a lot of battles in my mind, and really the last thing that I need to deal with right now is hate. I've been very fortunate that I have not received any hate thus far on my YouTube channel, and quite frankly, I would like to keep it that way. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you all in my next video. Goodbye, friends.